Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we are going to be looking at In Defense of the Gettier Problem, a problem for the very definition and our basic understanding of knowledge. If you haven't checked out my video on the Gettier Problem, I would advise that you do that now. We're going to do a short recap in this video, but if you're really unfamiliar with it, you should check that out. If you have a basic understanding of the Gettier problem or have heard it before, you should be fine moving forward in this video. So, the Gettier problem, once again, is a problem for the definition of knowledge. Knowledge is generally defined as justified true belief. Gettier is going to say that this is, in fact, insufficient for knowledge. The basic Gettier problem is if Smith has justification for believing that Jones has 10 coins in his pocket, such as he saw Jones sweep 10 coins into his pocket, and sufficient justification for Jones will get the job, such as the president of the company told Smith that Jones will get the job, then he has justification for believing that the man with 10 coins in his pocket will get the job. This belief is true, but in fact it's true only because Smith happens to also have 10 coins in his pocket and will also happen to get the job because the president of the company was mistaken. Therefore, Smith has justified true belief, but we wouldn't classify it as knowledge, because it doesn't seem that he really knows that the person with 10 coins in the pocket will get the job. He thinks that Jones will get the job, and he thinks that Jones has 10 coins in his pocket. There seems to be some problem with his reasoning, because he's using those to infer it, whereas he should be using he will get the job, and he has 10 coins in his pocket to infer his conclusion. The way that this is solved is by adding something called no false lemmas, or it would seem, at least, that it's solved this way. So, what we're going to do is we're going to say a belief is not knowledge because it contains a false lemma, or piece of support. In effect, Jones will get the job. That's the wrong piece of support. It's false. Our justification is flawed because of that. Therefore, if we add the following criterion, we will be able to solve the Gettier problem. Knowledge must not be inferred from any false belief. Great, we're done with it, we don't have to worry about it. Or do we? The response from the position of the Gettier problem would be something along the following lines. The famous Barn Facade thought experiment. So, imagine that there is a specific country, or area of the country, where they take great joy in fooling passing motorists with very ornate and very convincing barn facades. These facades, when looked at from the angle of the road, appear perfectly to be barns, but when looked at from any other angle can be seen to be merely facades, fake. Henry, unsuspectingly, is driving through barn facade country and is looking at barns and forming lots of beliefs about these barns. He believes, I am seeing a barn, I am seeing a barn, I am seeing a barn, and so on. These beliefs we would not call knowledge. They seem to be justified because barn facade country is a strange place, and there's no reason for Henry to believe he's in barn facade country. And generally, when you see barns, they're justified in believing that there are actually barns there. They are beliefs, he definitely believes them, but they're not true, because he's actually seeing barn facades. However, eventually, Henry's driving along and he sees an actual barn. Even people in barn facade country actually have to keep their animals somewhere. He forms the belief, I am seeing a barn. The trick is, this is now a justified true belief, and it's not based on any false lemmas, just as his beliefs about barn facades previously were not based on any false lemmas. He did not form the belief, I am not in barn facade country, because he doesn't know what in the world barn facade country is. He based those beliefs on no false lemmas, and now he bases this belief on no false lemmas. It's justified, it's true belief, but we wouldn't call it knowledge. We wouldn't say that he knows that that barn is there, because he seems to be really bad at telling when there's a barn and when there isn't. We wouldn't say that it's knowledge, but it is justified true belief not based on any false lemmas. Therefore, we have a problem. So, the original response was, knowledge must not be inferred from any false belief. Henry's true justified beliefs about barns rest on no false lemmas, and yet we still wouldn't consider them knowledge. Therefore, the addition of the no false lemmas criterion is insufficient to define knowledge and make it out of the Gettier problem. That was the In Defense of the Gettier problem. These videos, these last 3 or 4 videos that we've just done are going to be very useful when we're looking at our series In Defense of Skepticism coming up in a while. So, if you get confused there, you should refer back to these videos, and you should remember the things you've learned here when thinking about those videos. Watch this video and more at Carneades.org.